My name is John Gorman, and I was president of the Irish American Home in 1988, 89 and 90. I came from County Mayo, Castlebar, County Mayo, and I came here in 1959. Thanksgiving Day, actually, in 1959. I was in England for 2 years before I came here at 16 years old, and I came here when I was 18, and I came to Rockville, Connecticut. My aunt owned a small hotel there, and I came to visit her, and I've been here ever since. I came to the Grove Street property, Irish American Home, for social events, dancing and nightlife, and that's where I met my wife Mary in 1961. She was from Kilrush, County Clare. We went out together for 2 years here and went back to Ireland for a trip in 1963, and we got married back there in the cathedral in Innis, and we had our reception at the Old Ground Hotel in Innis. I got involved with the Irish American Home because I worked for a company called NCR, National Cash Register, and when the club first opened here in 67, 68, they had an old cash register that needed repair, and I was lucky enough to come down here and be able to repair the register for them. And I took care of the registers here for 40 years and went through a lot of permittees. Tom Folan was the first permittee here, and that's how I met him. I really got involved with the Irish American Home here in 73. We had 3 boys by that time, and the minor football had just started. Jack Griffin has started a minor football program here, and I brought the 3 of them down here even though they were very young. The oldest one started playing minor football then and continued to play for many years, all 3 of them. As a matter of fact, when we took the team to Ireland in 1983, they were a great team. We decided to take them to Ireland and see how actually how good they were. And we played 6 games over there, and they won 5 games out of the 6. And they had a great time. They were put up with host families, and they stayed together all these years. A lot of them players are still together. They come to social events here at the club and really enjoyed their time. Yeah, became very good friends. The problem with the immigration was at a very low ebb in the 1970s and 80s, and there wasn't a lot of people coming out from Ireland, so they started a minor program here, and it became a big success. We actually had 6 teams here in the club itself, and we got 9 clubs involved: Springfield, Holyoke, Danbury, Brewster, New York, and many other teams. And they would come down here. We had a great pitch here. We were the only one that had a pitch at the time. They would come down here to play. Well, they kept going until 84 when we took the team to Ireland. 83 when we took the team to Ireland. We took 23 players, and there was 62 parents went with us, parents and guardians that went with them. We had a fantastic trip. We were 2 weeks, and some people stayed longer than that. But then after they came back, they went to a higher level, senior level. They played in New York, and they played all over, and they won. Every game they played, they won. I was actually the treasurer of the league at the time, and that's how really I got involved. We had to collect money for all these games to get everybody going, so each club would chip in so much money, and that's how we would pay the fees for the clubs. Wherever we went, we had to pay a fee. If we played in New York, we had to pay a fee to get in there, so we would play that, and everybody had to have their birth certificate and proper registration, and it worked out great. Yeah, it was official. Yeah. In 1984, after we came back from the trip to Ireland, Mike Connolly was president at the time, and the club was having a hard time. Even though they had great volunteers and everybody was really working hard, the expenses were really high. And Mike Connolly and I sat down and talked about it, and we had gone to a couple other festivals. Holyoke, Massachusetts was the big one at the time. We had gone up there and looked at it, and we decided we were going to try to start one here. So Mike asked me if I would start it, and we went to the board of directors here at the club, and Joe Malarkey was the chairman of the board at the time. And Joe said for me to come up with a budget to see how much it would cost to start the festival. So basically came up with a budget of what it would cost to rent tents, to buy flooring for the field and stuff like that, and fencing. So we came up with $8,000 to start the festival. And I remember Joe saying, he said, Johnny said, we got $30,000 to our name. He said, we cannot afford to lose $8,000. He said, so we want this to be a success. So the first year we started it, we had great volunteers. I got 12 chair people to run different events here. The parking, the bar, as a matter of fact, Sister Peggy was in charge of our Italian pizza that year. That was her job. And fried dough. She actually was in charge of it. Did a great job. Everybody did a great job, and they worked towards being a profitable event. And we turned in almost $21,000 in profit the first year. So that was a good start. And every year it grew after that. And I think our top year was maybe 1992 or 93, when we turned in $56,000. And we kept that in a separate account, a festival account. And in the year 2004, after I was involved for 20 years, we had $723,000 in that account. Wow. So that left the club on a good footing. We had paid off the mortgage here. In 1988, we paid off the mortgage of the club, which was $82,000. Cora Dunning was the president then. We had a mortgage burning outside the front gate, and it was a big event. We had a big crowd here, and it was a big celebration. So we had that. We also bought the land at the back. And then when I became president in 1988, we had a renovation committee here, and we decided we were going to do a renovation because by now we had a nice savings account. And we actually added this fireplace here. We added this front entrance. We added the storage room in the back, which included six showers, because that was a big thing for the sporting events. When people came here from out of town on Sundays, they wanted to take a shower after the game or whatever, sweating. So we had the 6 showers and a dressing room out there, which was the only club in the area that had anything like that. And it was a real nice event. And it always brought a great crowd. We had great people too, great crowds at the games, and it helped the club here too, yeah. The pitch we have here, the field we have here, it's the only full-size pitch. It was the only full-size pitch in New England at the time. New York had a field down there at St. John's University. It was a full field, and now the Irish American Home in Boston has a full-size pitch, but we were the only one that had the full-size pitch at the time, yeah. And therefore we got a lot of games from Boston and New York. They would meet here to play their games here. And it's really helped the revenue in the club here, and we met a lot of people, and of course a lot of teams used to come from Ireland to play here. And then we had the grand opening here. And when we had the grand opening in 1989, by that time the immigration reform movement was really in effect, because the American government had taken some of the visas, the Irish visas that they were giving away. They had given to other European countries, so they had cut it back. They were only allowing 20,000 people to come from Ireland. It was because of Jimmy Larkin. And even during that time, Jimmy brought a lot of athletes out here to the University of Hartford, to Trinity College, to Providence College. He was able to get a lot of visas for some of these athletes to come out here and do very well, yeah. And Jimmy really worked on it. He went to every politician. We had Chris Dodd here, Senator Dodd, who Jimmy was trying to work with, and Senator Kennedy, Congressman Bruce Morrison, 86. And Jimmy got right after him. And he really was interested in the Irish. He couldn't believe that Ireland was only allowed 20,000 visas. So he really got together with Chris Dodd, Senator Chris Dodd, and Abraham Ribicoff, and Kennedy, and a few other ones, and he got together. The meeting was up here in the upstairs hall in 1989. There was probably 140 people here. I remember Governor O'Neill even came down to it. Of Chris Dodd was here, Bruce Morrison, he ran the meeting, Congressman Bruce Morrison, he ran the meeting. And it got approved in 1990. The Morrison visas took effect, and it increased from 20,000 to 48,000. And that was a big boost for Irish immigration at the time. And fortunately, they didn't really stay long here. A lot of them made some money, and then the Celtic Tiger came into effect in Ireland in the 1990s, and a lot of them went back with some money and started up their own businesses and doing very, very well. But it was Bruce Morrison, Congressman Bruce Morrison, who really did the job, and it's called after him. It's called the Morrison Visa. Yeah. Well, I think I'm really proud of the fact I was when I was president in '88 and '89. We got the addition done. We also got the new bylaws. The club, that was the first time they'd been done since the club first started in 1947. And John McAuliffe worked on the bylaws and got them done, and we got them printed. I think my legacy to the Irish American Home would be the festival, because that really was the thing that put it on its financial footing. I think one of the funny things was when we first started the festival, because of our limitation on funds from the board of directors, we had to improvise. We started ticket sales, advanced ticket sales, and we had people come down here. They would come down here and they would pick up their tickets here. And I remember Neely Murphy, he was our chairman for the parking, and he was adamant. He had just been turned to senior citizen at the time, which was 65. And that was the first time senior citizen discounts came into effect. And Neely was adamant. We were charging $4, it was for tickets. And Neely was adamant that we gave a senior citizen a discount. So we had to give them. And he was really serious about it. We had to give senior citizens the tickets for $3 and advance tickets $3. So I couldn't believe there was so many people came down here to buy advance tickets. And it really helped us too with our funds to get some money in advance. We actually collected $2,300 in advance tickets at $3 a piece. So that was a lot of tickets. And I think the other thing that really was funny was the town said we had to have 12 portable toilets back then. That was 1984. And I had to sign up for myself and put them under my own name, because the club, we couldn't get them. We didn't have any funds to pay for them in advance, so I had to pay for them myself. I had to give them a check. And of course the check had my address on it. So we were down here waiting for the toilets to be delivered. It's 5 o'clock. On Friday evening they were supposed to be delivered, and no toilets. And of course the town building inspector was here, and he said, "Hey, John," he said, "I can't let you open without toilets." He said, "They're supposed to be here." He said, "It's on the application." So he said, pretty soon, of course there was no cell phones or anything back then. Pretty soon PJ Tierney came out, who was the permittee here, and he said, "John," he said, "there's a phone call here for you." He said, "You better take it." He said, "This woman sounds really upset." And it was my next door neighbor. We live on a dead-end street. And she said, "John," she said, "what's going on?" She said, "There's a guy here, a truck here," she said, "with 12 big boxes on it, trying to back up your driveway." And he was trying to deliver the toilets to our house. So I had to talk to him. She went over and got him, bring him over. She got him, and I told him where they were supposed to be. I said, "That's just my address." He said, "That's the address that's on my bill." I said, "No, you got to bring him to 132 Commerce Street." So I told the building inspector the story, and he said, "Okay." He said, "We were supposed to open at 6 o'clock, and we had a ribbon cutting, and Lenny Morse was the first man to cut the ribbon here for the festival. And we really wanted to get it open because there was a big crowd here for the ribbon cutting, since it was our first one." And the building inspector said, "Okay." He said, "I believe you." He said, "The toilets are on their way." And sure enough, the truck came with the 12 boxes on there. I just want to say that over the years that I was involved with the festival, the presidency, all the dances and events we ran down here, we had fantastic support from everybody. And that's what made this club great, was the volunteerism. When we put electrical out to the middle of the field here. And rather than bring in a backhoe and dig up the field, Eddie Keneally and Coley Keneally got a group of men, 12 men, to come down and dig with the shovels and spades, dig a trench for the electrical. 3 or 4 of them, all the way out to the middle of the field in 3 places to put the electrical out. And they did it such a neat job that you wouldn't even know if they had dug a hole there. And this was just a month before the festival, you know, that we had to get it done. It's still out there. We used it right up until the end, the electrical. And all we had to do was dig a little hole out there, and all the electrical outlets were there. So, yeah, without that, without the volunteerism and the everybody that helped out here in everything all through the years, this club would not have survived or not have been as big and as good as it is. Really, yeah, it's because of that. And the people that work behind the bar, all the people there, they all knew everybody and knew, you know, who to ask to do things and get things done. Yeah. So we're very proud of it, and we just hope it'll continue for many, many years, yeah.